In the previous video, I discussed task reporting, and now having set up a load of tasks ready for invoicing, I'm going to show you the invoicing option. So click on tracking and then invoicing. And what Amanda will do, it will show you on the invoiceable projects lists which projects have tasks that have been marked started and that have data in the chargeable field, and it will present them in a list here. So what you can do is you can either generate invoices for all of these, or you can do it on a selective basis. So the first one, I'm just going to do this particular one. So to do that, if you enter a subject line in here, this will appear on the invoice. And something to note is if you have more than one projects that you're going to invoice at the same time, be very careful about using this subject, because it will place the same subject on all the invoices generated for all of the projects. So I'm going to put in a subject. And I am going to leave the rest of it blank, and I'm going to press generate. So what Amanda will do here, it will generate an invoice for this customer, and it will show the details of the task, it will show the amount, and this is the quantity field, so this is the amount that's been deemed as chargeable, and then break it down for each of the items, net, VAT and gross. Okay, you can use this extra invoice data if you wish, but to be honest, there's no real need for this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save. And what's going to happen there is an invoice is going to be generated, and this is the invoice number. So if I now go, if I close that and go back to the customers invoice list, and if I look down at the bottom, this is the invoice that has been generated from the tracking module. So if I click on it, you can see all the item details have been placed on the invoice. If you go to the projects tab, you can actually see that the status of these tasks is now being considered completed, and the completion is by virtue of the fact that an invoice has been generated. And you can see there all the tasks, there's a little tick there, and if we click on this link, it will take us to the projects. So if I refresh that, project tasks, refresh that, and we also want to have completed, and you can see there we have details of the project tasks again. And this time you can see that the only one that's not marked as completed is this one here, and the reason for that is because we decided at that point not to charge for this particular expense. And again, you can see that you can drill down from here into the actual invoice itself. So as far as invoices, the tracking module can be considered as a tool to help you raise invoices for projects, but once the invoice is raised, the way you deal with the invoice would be exactly the same as any other generated invoice, so recording payments and so on. It's just the fact that you will see an extra tab for projects to show details of the tasks that have been used to create the invoice. So that's invoicing in tracking.